Walk us through the final moments of the countdown. Guys?
Yeah, that's right, Megan. Things really getting exciting here as we count down to the last few minutes before liftoff from historic Launch Complex 39A. The first time for a dedicated science mission as we look up at IXB contained inside the fairing. And, you know, the booster that's taking it up today, Mick, has some history. And it's really interesting, all the different missions it's flown. It's flown 4 prior missions, and there you see them. Crew 1, Crew 2, Sirius XM-8, and CRS-23, 4 in all, and it's been reused now for today's flight with IXB.
Yeah, as we heard from Andy Tran earlier, this booster 1061 first stage, this will be the 5th flight for IXB. And Daryl, as you mentioned, those flights before were historic off of 39A here, 3 of them anyway. And of those 3, Crew 1, 2, and CRS-23 LSP, Launch Services Program, was very happy to partner with the Commercial Crew Program and the Commercial Resupply Program to provide advisory services. So we're very familiar with this booster, very happy to be flying this for IXB. It's our second time flying a previously flown booster. You and I just got to witness our first time on DART on the West Coast. Indeed. But today, we're here for IXB with this booster.
Did you notice something about all those shots and this particular flight tonight?
They're all in the evening.
That's correct.
Or early morning.
This is a night booster.
That's right.
It's a night rider.
Stage 1, RP1 load complete.
All right, there we heard a milestone of RP1 load complete.
Yeah, on stage 1, we heard earlier stage 2 was completed. So that rocket propellant 1 is now loaded into the second stage and first stage tanks. That's a great thing to hear as the team continues to load that super chilled, densified liquid oxygen into the first stage and second stage, and we will continue that for quite a while, right down to the final minutes here, Daryl, as they top off those tanks to get as much propellant in there that they can for the ascent of IXB on its mission, but also to bring this booster back a 5th time.
That's right. This booster landing on the drone ship, just read the instructions, which got out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean at its holding position at 10 a.m. this morning Eastern Time. We are counting down 5 minutes and 20 seconds until liftoff of IXB on a Falcon 9 rocket at 1 a.m. Eastern Time here at the Kennedy Space Center. And we're also counting down to another big milestone at 5 minutes when that spacecraft goes on internal power. Let's listen in for that call.
So, Daryl, we just heard the spacecraft SMD over on the NLM net report out to NASA's launch manager, Tim Dunn, that the spacecraft is on internal power. They are ready for launch this morning. That's a big milestone to make sure that IXB is prepared and ready to get going at 1 a.m. this morning for liftoff.
That's right. We didn't hear it on the public net. That was something that we heard on the communications between the launch teams. Now we're looking for that strong back, the structure that brought the rocket out and put it vertical on the pad from a horizontal position to lean back a little bit. We're also seeing some venting. Look at the top, towards the top of that rocket. You can see some of the pressure from that super cool liquid oxygen starting to boil when it gets into that warm atmosphere of the rocket, and also venting it off since we're pretty close to fueling this thing all the way.
Yeah, as we get the propellant tanks loaded and we get near the top of those, as you said, that super cooled LOX at minus 340 degrees starts to boil off or warm up very quickly, and we have to relieve some of that pressure from the tanks, and that's what you see, that venting, as you mentioned. And so that will continue on right up till the final minutes before we lift off this morning, and the team will then close off those vent valves and bring the tanks up to flight pressures, getting ready to light the 9 Merlin engines.
We just heard the SpaceX chief engineer, Paul. They gave the go for launch at T-minus 4 minutes. That was just a few seconds ago.
Yeah, the team continues to work, Daryl. We're down there in the final minutes to making sure that propellant loading is finalized. The flight termination system is armed and ready to go.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And there we just heard stage 1 LOX load is complete. That's another milestone to get that tank to its full potential. They'll continue to top that off as they continue to load stage 2. And once we get to a stage 2 load complete here in about 50 seconds, stage 1 and 2 will continue topping, and then we will shut those vent valves and bring the pressure up in the tanks, getting ready again to bring, as I said earlier, to bring those 9 Merlin engines up to speed and get ready to lift Falcon 9 and Ixby off the pad.
And there you can see the white condensation clouds from the icy cold rocket and that super chilled minus 400 something degrees. I would say the engineer knows the exact number.
The super chilled LOX is around. They super chill it down to minus 340 degrees F.
That's right. It's super cold.
It's super cold.
And it's nearly filled.
Stage 2, LOX load is complete.
That's the call we were looking for there, Daryl. Stage 2 LOX load complete. So stage 1 and 2 now have full tanks of liquid oxygen on board and RP1, rocket propellant 1. And the team will continue to top those off and get ready for liftoff here in about a minute and 40 seconds.
And since we are in a nighttime launch, look towards the base of the rocket. Right around 2 seconds, you'll see a green flash. That's a mixture of hypergolic ignition with some chemicals that basically help fire the rocket up.
Yeah, we have some gas generators that start the engines up to help basically provide that ignition. You know, talking about your little science right there, it's basically a fire triangle, right? We have RP1 as a fuel, liquid oxygen as an oxidizer, and we just need to provide a spark to get the engines going, and that's what you'll see there just prior to liftoff.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Falcon is in startup.
And now you heard the startup, which means the computers on board Falcon 9 are now in control of terminal count.
That's correct, Daryl, and we should be hearing the final go here from the team.
It'll be go for XP launch.
And there we just heard launch director giving the go for the Ixby launch. So things are beginning to ramp up here, and we will see that the vent valves get closed. The team is ready to go, and Ixby will be on its way here in about 30 seconds.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting until liftoff. Okay, and here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of Falcon 9 and Ixby. A new set of X-ray eyes to view the mysteries of our skies.
We hear the launch vehicles cleared off, and we're hearing nominal chamber pressures on all 9 Merlin engines.
Beautiful shot there showing the VAB and the rocket lifting off. Showing right down the booster.
Power and telemetry nominal.
So we're seeing that everything is performing nominal so far on the Falcon 9, Daryl. It's a beautiful liftoff this morning as you and I get to now experience that rumble from the Falcon 9 here at the Mission Director Center in Hangar AE. Things continue to perform well, and we hear that the vehicle is supersonic, and our next milestone we're looking at to get through max Q, our maximum dynamic pressure.
Falcon 9 engines pulling back just a little bit as that max Q milestone passes. Beautiful shot right there.
Vehicle's made it through max Q, and that's great to hear. That's the point of maximum stress on the vehicle, Daryl, and the Falcon 9 is performing well as we see that onboard camera and the exhaust and flames from the 9 Merlin engines on board. Ixby continues downrange successfully and nominally so far.
Stage 1 trajectory is looking good. They're starting to chill now the second stage engine, get it ready to ignite. Everything flying on track. We are 2 minutes into flight. You see those 9 Merlin D engines all lit up? And in just about 20 seconds, those engines will cut off. In rapid succession, we'll get MECO, you can see the progress bar across the bottom of your screen. There's a shot from inside the Falcon 9 rocket.
First stage engine cut off.
Stage separation confirmed.
And there we have main engine cutoff, and you just saw that the stage 1-2 SEP on the video as
MVAC
stage
ignition.
2 MVAC D engine gets ready for ignition, and we see that we have ignition on the MVAC D.
It's a great sign to see that engine glowing red hot as the first of 2 burns takes place. The rocket falling back to Earth, the first stage of the rocket. We hope to get a shot of it as it deploys its grid fins and prepares for its landing. That is on the left side of your screen. On the right side of your screen is the second stage. It's dark out, so of course, not going to see a whole lot, but you will see that left side light up when we have that entry burn as the rocket booster falls back through Earth's atmosphere, and they slow it down a little bit.
We should hear fairing jettison here shortly, which
Fairing separation confirmed.
there we have fairing separation confirmed, and
watch this.
And we see that on the video here, and that now exposes XB to the environments of space. It was protected by that fairing on ascent for aero heating and loading, and things are going well. Flight looks nominal so far. MVAC D is performing very well. Chamber pressures look good, and continues on its course.
4 minutes into flight, everything looking nominal. 190,000 pounds of thrust from that engine right there. They call that the MVAC engine.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
Four minutes and 30 seconds into flight. They have a couple of different angles off the back of the second stage.
I could say, Daryl, as we look at this and we continue to watch the data and things perform nominally, I'm just feeling really excited about how second stage is performing. I mean, we had an on-time liftoff this morning at 1 a.m. with the stage 1, and stage 1 continues to fall back to Earth. We should be seeing that entry burn in, about two minutes to start the recovery of the first stage. But stage 2 and this MVAC D engine is performing extremely well right now and putting XB on this path, that circular orbit that we talked to get started before we have that second burn. So things continue to look good on this mission.
Trajectory.
There's the call out that everything is looking, as you said, great with stage 2. This, the 130th launch of a Falcon 9 rocket carrying the XB spacecraft. First launch also from Kennedy Space Center's Launch Complex 39A.
Yeah, for Launch Services Program, as we stated earlier, it's the first dedicated scientific mission for us. We are so excited to be launching from that historic pad with a Falcon 9, where astronauts have launched from during Apollo and Shuttle, and now we get to launch one of Launch Services Program's science missions.
Stage 1 FTS is safe.
From there, and everything looks great. We heard that Stage 1 FTS is safe. That's a good sign.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And we're seeing the startup of the Stage 1 entry burn. You can see there on your left side of your screen the 3 engines that have started up to slow that first stage down as it re-enters the atmosphere, along with the grid fins as it continues to keep the booster on track and steer.
And as that booster falls, this engine burn, roughly 30 seconds long, just basically slowing it down as it goes to the
Stage 1
atmosphere.
entry burn shutdown.
And the stage 1 entry burn there is now finished. Looking now to stage 2, this one will cut off in about 60 seconds. That will complete,
Stage 2 on nominal trajectory.
and that will complete the first burn. Look across the bottom of your screen. You can see engine cutoff 1. That's our next milestone. Look to the clock in the upper left-hand corner. 40 seconds from now, we'll have that next milestone.
We hear from the
Stage 2
team.
FTS is safe.
We hear from the team. Continue to look at the data, Daryl. that
Stage 1
trajectory
transonic.
is still nominal and looking good. Stage 2 is performing very well, and chamber pressures remain within family and nominal for this flight.
And just seconds away now from the cutoff of that second stage engine that you're watching there, burning brightly, carrying IXPE through space into its correct orbit.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And back engine cutoff.
So there we can see that the stage 1 landing burn has started to get the first stage landing on just read the instructions. And we also heard the call out that SECO 1 has happened, second stage
Stage 1
engine shut off.
deploy.
Landing legs have deployed, and we can see the first stage coming down on the drone ship there.
A little pixelated, but that is the image from the drone ship. Live pictures coming from SpaceX's just read the
Stage 1 landing
instruction,
confirmed.
and there you see it. Looks like the rocket made a great touchdown.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We just heard from the
signal.
team that they're confirming that stage 1 is down safely, and that's exciting to be able to bring that booster back for a fifth time. We'll look forward to see where that booster 1061 shows up for its next mission. It did well on the first stage burn, getting second stage on its way. Second stage picked up, as we said, nominal trajectory and continued to burn. We are now in a coast phase, Daryl, that you had mentioned earlier, as we head towards that western coast of Africa to get ready for second stage engine burn number 2.
And there you see the ground track that we've completed so far. And as you mentioned, all along the path today, everything looking great from launch to separation, the booster coming back down, and now in that coast phase. You can see there the engine bell is now back to ice cold, so it's not firing. And that right there is IXPE, the camera pointed. You can see its 3 telescopes through those 3 curves in the front. IXPE is in space, and we are tracking it as it coasts. And as it does so, we're going to tell you a little bit more about the science, and for that, let's throw it back to Megan and Marie.
All right, thank you, Daryl and Mick. If you're just joining us, you are watching NASA's official live launch coverage of IXPE, NASA's new X-ray observatory. It launched about 10 minutes ago. Right behind us, we had a beautiful view here, Megan.
Yeah, wow.
是整个领域的研发的重点和难点，大家可以想象，这等于是在精英里面挑精英，使得这些挑出来的抗体可以作为我们将来的药物研发，或者说是预防和治疗。那体内我们抗体其实每个人身上都流淌着很多的抗体，我们每一个人呢，这个抗体长一样，就有点像我们小时候那个男孩打的那个弹弓有点像，是一个外形的一个叉。它的识别特点就是这两头两脑。对于病毒有非常超级的特异性的识别，它就是专门被新冠感染之后，它就专门产生这种大量抗体呢，识别病毒表面蛋白。然后呢，这些抗体在体内中间这张图呢，实际上是一个。